Hey guys, I am very excited about today's guest. She is called Megs, my dear friend Megan Coleman. Megs is a breath of fresh air. She really is. She is like your biggest cheerleader, biggest hype girl. She literally is so excited to hear every idea and dream that you have and cheers you on as you go for them. I can't wait to chat to her today. We have known each other for about 3 years and have kind of watched each other like morph and grow our businesses and ourselves as humans. And it's just so fun to be able to walk aside life with people like Meg. So I can't wait for you to listen to our chat today. I think I'm going to divide it up into 2 episodes. Meg and I both talk very fast. We both go off on tangents. We both go down rabbit holes. So good luck to you. Enjoy the chat. I absolutely love talking to Megs and we could talk for hours and hours and hours. So enjoy. Utter chaos around here, Megs. The thing is, I've declared to the universe that I want to show up within the chaos and be every element of my unique craziness and like unfiltered and show everything to the world. And so the universe is like, cool, game on. Like,
is that what you want?
Pretty much. So
we'll
like
give it to you.
It is so fun to chat with you, Megs. It's
I
been
know.
so long.
It's been such a long time. I know. I was so excited when you reached out. I was like, yes. I couldn't think of a better way to spend an hour.
Always keen to chit chat. And in the time that we've known each other, maybe like 3 years, we've both been like up, down, sideways, backwards, forwards, all over the place. And it's so good because I feel like you just keep morphing into a more aligned, unapologetic version of yourself, you know? Like
yeah.
I had to laugh the other day because I was thinking about our chat and I had to laugh because you were kind of stuck between, not stuck, but you were feeling stuck between 2 worlds, right? Because you were like marketing queen and then, or like social media and marketing queen, but then you were also wanting to work with business owners. But now, would I be correct in understanding you're like pretty close to your dream bloody job?
Oh, it's so funny. So when we first met, I still was working full time because I was too scared to like take the leap and do all the things and kiss the 6-figure salary goodbye. And yeah, it was terrifying for me. And I remember all those chats. It was like you've just got to draw a line in the sand. It's like you're doing it or you're not. So yeah, I didn't want to just, I guess, and this doesn't sound great, but, you know, I didn't want to just be marketing. Like I have other skills that make, you know, obviously the marketing thing come to me easily, but I wanted to have a bit more of an impact and do something that I cared about. Because, you know, I can market businesses and all of the things, but, you know, if you're not passionate about it, you know, speaking about ADHD, if I'm not passionate about it, I'll procrastinate the absolute shit out of it. And, you know, I'll get it done. It'll take me 2 minutes to do, but I'll procrastinate for like 10 days. So, I think the turning point for me for creating the business that I have now is I lost figuratively, like, you know, figuratively, my very first client that I ever signed in my business. And I really took that terribly. I was like, I seem to still not be able to differentiate the difference between personal and business. And, you know, everyone's like, it's just business. It's not a personal reflection on you. But when you are your business and you put your whole life into your business and your business is your source of happiness or otherwise, you know, you can't help but take it personally. So yes, then that forced me to diversify what I wanted to do because I didn't want to be miserable. And you know how much I love motorsport. And so I was like, well, I love PR and I love motorsport. I wonder if I could create a business. And this was literally, Jem, like I had a hyper-focus moment where I was like, I'm going to create the brand. I'm going to build the website. I'm going to build the socials. I'm going to do, like, I built that sucker in like a day. Like all of a sudden Coleman and Co was born. And then I literally was like, oh, I'll just start reaching out to drivers. And I signed 3 drivers in my first month of business.
It's amazing. That could just sums up how much, especially people with ADHD, need to listen to those nudges. Because I'm exactly the same. I absolutely love that you were just like, oh my gosh, this is what I need to do. And then you like create it on the spot, whether it's 3:00 in the morning or like you're supposed to be going somewhere else right at that minute. I'm exactly the same. And I did the same when I just did my recent like rebranding all my colors and all that kind of thing. I was like, oh no, I'm on a roll. Like I can't go to bed yet. So I'm up half the night. It's insane. But the point is it ends up being like way more aligned to where you're supposed to be, right?
Yeah,
So good.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it was, yeah, and it is because like you do, you forfeit sleep and you forfeit time doing other things, but it just feels so good in the moment that it's like you just can't stop. And I think if you were to try and like be quote unquote normal and go to bed at a normal time, you wouldn't have the brilliance that we get when we get into these hyper focus, zones of like just creating brilliance. And then we look at it afterwards, we're like, holy shit, where did that come from?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And does it make you think of all of the times and the seasons of your life that things might have been stunted because you've had to like conform to what other people are expecting you to do? Like you've got to be up a certain time to go to school or study or work, or you've got to be doing all these things at particular times and force yourself to do all these things that you're quite capable of doing, but also like, God, you've got no freaking drive or passion to do them. And I think of all the times that it must have like completely stunted me.
Yeah.
Do you think the same for you?
100%. I think I got very good through school to sort of disassociate because I didn't want to be there. I had absolutely no interest in anything I was being taught unless it was biology. Like I couldn't give two shits. And I was able to sort of like, and that's why I always got called like either a space cadet or my head was in the clouds all lesson and stuff because I wasn't, I couldn't give two shits about what they were saying. I was thinking about, at that time it was sport. So I was able to compartmentalize my day, understanding that that was going to be like, okay, this is the school time. Like this is where like, and then after is kind of like where my life gets to start and where it gets to begin. And I think I carried that through my career and why I always had a side hustle of some description, because it's like I had to get my fix somehow of like doing something that I absolutely loved. Like, and that's why I think people like us will go through so many different seasons of new ideas and new businesses and new bits and pieces, and you should always follow them because it will lead you to sort of like where you need to go, and you have no idea from starting where it will, I guess, lead you. So that's why I think I was able to compartmentalize my workday so much and still be able to come home, even though I've worked 12-hour day, and be like, okay, cool, let's jump into my actual day that I wanted to start at 5 o'clock this morning.
God, that's so true. That's so bloody true. As you're speaking, I'm going, oh my gosh, is that what I do? Actually, so at the moment I have part-time job in admin, and I actually got the job because I didn't really know. I felt like I was bad at admin. I didn't have a lot of confidence and experience. So I was like, if I'm going to have a part-time job, I may as well get something that's going to help me like learn and grow. And they're really lovely people and the work is totally fine. And it's just like, I mean, seriously, I know for my soul that I will need to move on at some point. However, I go there, I do a great job. I even got an award end of last year, Megs. I was like an award for my
Wow.
admin work. I was like
Amazing.
half pissing myself laughing and half just like, because it was so unlike me to get an award for my administration, which couldn't stop laughing because I'm like, I feel like I'm quite a disorganized person. But anyway, and then be able to come home and I could feel quite tired and then suddenly be excited about doing my client work and my business work and my family stuff and just be like, oh, it's wild, isn't it?
Yeah, and
Wild.
it's easy to
Yeah.
jump into that mode of life. Very easy.
Yeah, totally. And how you were saying with school and being able to, I always forget the word that you use.
Compartmentalize.
He's just finished school end of last year and he had learning challenges and complications that came from his ADHD in terms of just compounded effect of I take ages to do everything. I find everything hard. I just can't learn that way. I don't have enough time to teach you a different way. I have told you how to do it 500 times. I don't know how to tell you otherwise. Blah, 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 blah. You're too slow. All of this stuff. And so he had all these challenges at school, but then he would, live for his sports and live for things that he was doing outside of school, his part-time job, with his friends, hanging out with his friends. But what's been really interesting is he decided not to study for this half of the year, at least. Just been wild watching him slowly rewrite those narratives, see this in his head go, oh my gosh, maybe I can do all of those things.
Yeah. Well,
So crazy how different our brain can work if we love something. When you get into that like hyper focus, you start to be, you're just like so impressed with yourself, right? You're like, oh,
yeah.
God, look at me. Like, how did I just do that? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And, you know, I remember all of the things that my teachers used to say to me at school. And it's very similar. It's like, why can't you focus? And like, why, you know, you procrastinate too much and, you know, all these things. But, and you do carry that belief through with you until like, you know, I was the same. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I left school. You know, I went and got a job because I was like, oh, I'm going to work this out. And so all of those things that I was like, oh, I'm like, I'm not, I pick up things quickly, but I'm very lazy, and like all these sorts of things that you believe about yourself. And, you know, I think the school system, the way that I look at it now, it's like me having to unlearn all of those narratives. And, you know, even with my parents, it was the same thing because they were just listening to what the teachers were saying. And it was like, you know, I'm unfocused and I'm lazy. And I remember one comment, and this still like gets to me to this day. She's so smart. She would achieve so much more if she wasn't so, if her head wasn't in the clouds so much or something like that. And I was like, you know, like, I think I am pretty smart. Like, and I think I can pick up things. I just don't care about what you're
Yeah.
teaching me. You know,
Yeah,
I just,
absolutely.
you know, I just don't really. And, you know, even like stuff like algebra and shit like that, I think like I didn't enjoy doing it, but I think what my brain loved was the problem solving little puzzle pieces. I could like,
Yes.
and then once I like couldn't work it out, I was like, I don't really care about this, you know, like whatever. But I think, and I think because I was such a shit of a kid because of that, I was like, if you're going to tell me that I'm not going to be able to do something or that something's not going to work out if I don't do this, I'm like, oh, don't tell me that because it means I have to prove you wrong.
Yeah. Absolutely. I know from school as well, is that everyone told me I was so quiet, but then yeah, I would when I went to speak up, it would be saying the wrong thing or saying something that someone else had already said, but I would have been so deep in thought I wouldn't have heard them, or like so many things. So people didn't realize they were doing it. It's little comments compounding over time that silence you, eh? And so,
100%.
yeah, even as a grown adult, I was just like I just felt like I just couldn't say anything. And then I
Yeah.
feel like I've gone like complete opposite. Now I've started a YouTube channel, Chit Chat with Jim. I'm like, no one can shut me up now. So
Yeah. And
yeah.
but that's, I love that. And I like, but I think even like, you know, our beliefs and our fears from our parents even earlier. But like, you know, when you put your hand up in school and you like you wanted to answer a question and you got it wrong and then everyone like laughed at you, and
Yes.
you're just like, oh my God, I'm never gonna put my hand, like that was really embarrassing. I'm never putting my hand up again and answering a question like that. And, you know, even I remember like we would have to go around and like read pages, like you'd have to read like a page each
Oh yeah.
student over there. And I would shit myself. And I'm not even that bad. Like, I think I am actually dyslexic because I look at stuff and I invert words. But I think that actually made me get very good at speed reading, because I wanted to get it over and done with so quickly that I would literally like, you know, go blah, 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 like, you know, and I was done. And then I got told to slow down and like, don't read so fast. And I'm like, fuck man, what do you want?
Yeah.
Like, I read your page. I didn't want to read it. I read it fine. And I just read it quickly, you know, so
Yeah.
it's just things we have to conform to.
Yeah, it is. It is madness, eh? So hard because I love my boys going through school. Like I've had to advocate for them in so many different ways and for so many different reasons. And then I see children that their parents might not know how to advocate for them, or they just don't know what questions to ask or what's available to them, or they don't have the confidence to speak up. And me, like 15 years ago, wouldn't have either. And so, yeah, it's just been quite a wild, horrible like experience having to advocate for them and then watching other kids and being like, oh my gosh, I wish I could speak up for them. I've been wanting to learn more about neurodiversity and the learning challenges that come alongside it. And so I was looking and looking, and it's like, man, it was few and far between actual education like to learn about these things, but I ended up finding a course, and you'll love this too. This is like the universe's little wink at me. So end of January, I found this course and it works out like 10 hours a week or something, but it was $2,500. And I less than a week to decide because there was like limited spaces. So I just missed out on a spot. But I emailed them and said, can you just let me know about future like enrollments, please? And I just got an email last week saying, hey, I'm really pleased to let you know we're going to start another round. This round is free, free fees. I was
My
like,
God.
I
Thank
like
you. You know
read
what
it,
I'm saying? Amazing.
and that's just like this thing. Just had to like follow it. I was like, I'm so intrigued. I want to learn more. Like 5 years ago, me never would have done that because it wouldn't have made sense, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. Made
Yeah.
logical sense. Like, and but I think, and that's the thing, especially when you like, I think it's the saying, like, don't give up on something you can't go a day about thinking without or something like that. I'm like, if I think of something 3 times, then I have to act on it. And that might be as small as like reaching out to somebody that keeps popping up in my head, or, stuff like that, because, you follow those threads and you just don't know what might become of it. So that's really exciting.
It's so exciting. I love that rule that you just let things come up 3 times, because I feel like
Yeah.
that's been at least 100 for me in the past.
Yeah. Oh, same, same.
Oh
It'll
my
be,
God.
but now it's like to the point where I'm like, oh my God, like, cause I'm trying, like, cause you're not meant to touch your phone while you're driving. So in that instance, I'm like, use Siri more. So I send a message to this person, and like, it literally can just be like thinking about you, hope you're well. Like, I don't have to go into war and peace about it. But like, I think probably like 99% of the time, like that person will either message back or that thing will come back and be like, oh my God, I literally was just thinking about you. So it's less like, okay, we're meant to reconnect in this moment for whatever reason.
Yeah, I love that. It's so important, eh? I need to be more intentional about that, because I definitely went through a season of doing that. And sometimes I'd feel quite an urgent, like, hey, I'm just thinking of you. Like, how's everything going? And I'd sort of have a bit of a feeling. And sometimes they'd message back going, oh my gosh, like, I'm actually having a really awful time. And I'll be like, right. Okay. That's why you're on my heart. Like, let's chat. And the other way, like, oh my gosh, I've just had like the best week or whatever. And it's like, if you can just sit back and like tune in with those kind of connections, and also like the kind of pulls on your heart, like to actually listen to yourself. I feel like that's been a big one for me, like over the last year. So like it was about, well, actually it's been the last couple of years that I've wondered if I have ADHD, but it was like this time last year, start of last year, that I was like, oh my gosh, I just really feel like I want to get assessed. But I started full on doubting myself. But I'd chosen the word connection for my like word of the year 2025. And I thought it was like connection with like my family members, my friends, making new connections. And then I very quickly learned that yes, like it was all of those things. And it was more so like connection to myself and finding out all those sorts of things. But I feel like along with that, like along with being assessed and diagnosed with ADHD, but also like I just had such a year of connecting with myself, learning to actually like hear and listen to what was happening under the surface. And quite a lot of the things that I heard had been on like repeat for years and years. And it was just like, oh, why have I not listened to this? Like, why have I not? And really, there's just all this crap over the top, like muffling it, isn't it? Whether it's doubts,
Yeah.
worries, other people's stories, past experiences, all the things. So it's been really nice to be able to move to a place of actually like listening to myself. Like this
Yeah.
YouTube channel being one of them is because I've been like, I want to start it properly for like years. Yeah, it's crazy how we do that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think like with anything, it's like those little nudges sort of like continue to happen, and then like the universe will scream at you eventually and kind of just like make you do certain things. And I love that, because like we can get in our own way so much, like you said, like, you know, from limiting beliefs that we have to limiting beliefs that, were handed down to us and generationally and things. Like my mum is still convinced that I don't have ADHD. Like it's the funniest thing. Like, and I did it literally to prove her wrong. I was like, there's definitely, and like, this is my language. This is not how I feel about it. But like, I would say to her, and knowing it would like rev her up too, because I'm a bit of a shit like that. I'm like, no, there's something wrong with me. Like, it's not like, I'm like, not like normal people like this, because she is the first one. And I'll say this to her face. She's the first one to be like, look at what my daughter's doing. Like, oh, she's often doing this and, whatever. She's the first one. But then it's like with the challenges, because yourself when you put yourself out there, and like the higher you rise, the potential crash is considerably bigger. And when you like kind of remove all of your beliefs to that point, they will still come up. It'll just be in a different way. And so I found that my crashes were harder, even though I was flying higher. And so, she really sort of struggled with that as well, because, just like the problems that we were having, even between me and my siblings, are very, very different. I love that, I did it like just to spite her, really, got diagnosed. But then once I actually took the time to understand my brain, it was like a whole different world. And I was like, oh, this is actually a superpower.
Yeah. Yeah. I know, it's interesting, eh? I go through like waves of being like, oh wow, I can see how this is my superpower. And then other times of, I wouldn't say I'm like feeling sorry for myself, but more so just recognizing like that the challenges can be really detrimental, and just being like, wow, like I can see how a lot of the challenges over the years, especially like when I didn't understand them, how they really stunted me and stopped me in my tracks. And I'm just determined for them to not stop me anymore. Like, yeah, they might pause me from time to time, but then also when I'm go, I feel like I move things forward like 20 times faster than often what other people are. So I think aren't we so ingrained, that consistency thing? No,
Yeah.
like oh my God, that's so gone out the window for me. That stressed me out. Like years of trying to be consistent because that's what we're told to be, and trying to be as consistent and level and balanced as possible. And it's like, oh my God, the more, I think that's been actually one of the biggest things for me over the last 9 months, is allowing myself to be like all on and all go, and then feeling myself going, right, I need to allow myself to kind of fall into a wee bit of a hole and
Yeah.
crash, and then
Yeah.
allow myself to go again. And the fact that I actually need both, but trying to express that to other people is really, really hard.
Oh,
Eh?
it's a nightmare. Even just like reminding yourself of that in the moment is a pain in the ass, because I guess society isn't ingrained to run and then stop and then sprint and then walk and all those things. But that's how, and I'm a projector as well, right? Like I thrive on rest, but I have like become so attuned to, I've got to get up at this time, every day, because you should, all the shoulds, you should get up at the same time every day. And, you should do this and you should do that. And so I do that. And it gets to a point where my body, or like, it'll just be like, no, we're not doing this. Like you are got, like, I'll give you a migraine, or I'll give you a flare, or I'll give you a something, and bet you're going to stay in bed, So, I've, exactly what you just said then, that was such a good reminder to me as well. So, because I can, if I do a 12-hour day, it's a week's worth of work in one. Like,
Yeah.
and I don't really appreciate myself enough for that, because I'm used to being like, oh, well, it's 9 o'clock. Like I need to be contactable, and I need to be this, I need to be that for everybody else. But I actually don't, because if I'm like in my little, and like so if you're into human design, like my environment is a cave. So I like to be in my little cocoon and like do my little thing. And then like when I'm ready to come out though, like, well, watch me. I'm the loudest, brightest, most out there person in the whole world. But then I just need a little break again for like 3 days.
Yeah,
I'm honoring that.
absolutely. I know. I don't know enough about human design, but what did you say you were? I'm like a 6'2".
I'm a 6'2" projector.
Oh yeah. So I'm in a 6'2" manifesting generator.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the 6'2" thing totally made sense that's like the only part that I've actually managed to learn about, and it's kind of retained in my brain. I felt the expectation and like the pressure to go, go, go. And like I was quite a social butterfly, and like, people saw me as so confident, but then I had these like underlying doubts of walking into a room and just being like, holy crap, all of those things. So I couldn't quite get it. And all of that was really exhausting. And as you say, I didn't used to take time to give myself that rest and that kind of hermit time that I so needed. And so my body would make me, and I'd get sick,
Uh-huh.
and I was, it was awful. It's like so many things over the years that I did because I just didn't understand myself properly. I've lost my train of thought. When it comes to having a job, such as like I love my part-time job that I've got right now, the part that stresses me out the most, it's just like the norm, right? I have to be there and be available, and it's like these hours, and my energy has got to be there. And it's absolutely draining because that's not natural for how I work. I would almost rather me just be available for full time, but I'd probably work like 5 hours because I'd be more efficient that way. I'd get everything done.
Back in my corporate days. And I think I was just running on surviving, to be perfectly honest. Like it wasn't a thriving time for me whatsoever. I continued to make more money and get promoted and shit like that.
Yeah.
The last, my tech job that I had, because it was a global position, I could more or less kind of create my own hours a little bit. So then I'd like jump on for a few hours. And I think those stints and like chunkier breaks are actually what worked the best for me. I was able to get a lot more done because I was focused. Even so, like 2 hours of focus for me is like more than a day's work. Like I'm kind of
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, totally. And do you find, like, example, as a business owner, you have lots of different areas that you need to do and you can love doing all of them. But if I can't plan, like, I'm going to do a whole day of like admin, or I'm going to do a whole day of this or whatever, and kind of necessarily channel that energy. Of course, I book in like guest interviews and that kind of thing, and that's fine. But it's more like I actually need to kind of have a list of tasks and then actually be like, what energy am I in today? What am I going to be able to channel to be able to choose to put my focus on something, if that makes sense?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. So what I do is I know how many hours like each driver of mine, or I've still got marketing clients. And so what I actually do is like on Sunday, I go through and I block all those times out my calendar. So it's like, 2 hours, 3 hours, hour, like whatever. But I don't hold myself to that. I just know that all those blocks have to be completed by the end of the week. So, like, I wasn't well yesterday, for example, and I was just like feeling it this week. I was like, yep, Monday, Tuesday, I was like an animal. And so I completed like most of the bits and pieces. So I was able to pull things forward. And then, like, sort of yesterday, when I was like, oh, I'm just not feeling it, I was like, all right, do you know what? I'm just going to take the rest of the afternoon off. And then I moved other bits and pieces to today, and other beats I'd already sort of done. So it allows things to come up, and I still got time and space, but it also allows me, like, I will procrastinate in a productive way because I know it has to get done, and I know that my brain will look for any excuse not to do it. So I've got 4,000 other things I can do in that time until like eventually my brain's like, all right, fuck it. I'm sick of thinking about this. Let's just get it done. So that's
Yeah.
how like my little hack for
Yeah, I
life
know it's
recently.
gonna, yeah, and it almost, you need to wait for that like pressure to
Yeah,
arise,
you do.
right? Yeah. That's so interesting because I end up doing the same thing. And with my client work, I end up kind of get it done in advance a little bit, because for
Yep.
exactly the same reason. It's like I know all the things that I've got to kind of get done and to try and get them done in advance, because I have become unwell suddenly as well. And so then I'm like, oh, crap, now I can't do anything for a day or whatever. Or like my child becomes unwell or things happen.
Yep.
So I love knowing for me that I'm going to have a few things like finished in advance. It's funny how those things almost naturally fall into place and you realize that you've created them for a particular reason. It's like, I didn't realize
Yeah.
I was doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Bill, and I was like, why do I have to feel unbelievable amounts of pressure to like do things I don't want to do? So I've kind of just created that pressure myself. I'm nicer to myself because, same as you, I know that in the drop of a hat, I can become unwell and I can do all the things. And at the moment, because I've got a pretty major surgery coming up in the next couple of months, I'm having a hysterectomy. And I know that I'm going to be out for 6 weeks. So it's like, how do I continue to have an income and continue to be able to work, as effective as I possibly can? And I used to love this part of like being an EA. I used to love scheduling things, and I used to like love like booking things, like like mapping all of the things out. So I basically done that whole strategy that I do for the week, but basically for the rest, like for the next 6 months. So I know when races are coming up and what events I've got on, and all those bits and pieces. So I've effectively created that space for my body to do what it needs to do. And if it doesn't, then fantastic, I've got some free time.
Yeah. I love that so much too. And I think that's so smart, being able to look ahead and be able to like plan and map it all out. I love mapping stuff out. I could like
Oh,
map out
same.
all day. I've had to, I think over the years, I'm way better at implementing things now and like going ahead, but I used to like map out and plan and then stop there. But no, I love that so much. Do you find that with our creative energies and like we love doing and like kind of floating, I feel like I want to do this and like I want to do this and like really just indulging my energy where it's going. I have kind of learnt that I actually need that structure in place. So in terms of like having work that I've already done that's already scheduled in place, and things like even doing some meal prep, like family wise, doing some meal prep or having things planned or scheduled or ready in advance allows me to actually be more creative and flow easier. And I think it's when I'm getting really overwhelmed or really stressed, it's because I'm like, right, it's because some of those natural structures and like support, like your support system isn't in place like it usually is. Do you
Mhm.
find that too?
100%. Like, and I think it's because I love creating schedules, and I love like, and that's why I used to be like the biggest bloody hoarder of planners, because I loved planning stuff. Execution, fucking terrible, but planning, amazing. But what I think is like, I've hacked my own brain because I see all the blocks of things that have to get done. And because when I'm in the flow, I'm in the flow. So I'm like, fuck yeah, you know what? I'm going to sit here. Like, and I don't even do this consciously. It's like all of a sudden I'm dragging blocks to today and today, and I'm like, I'm feeling it, mate. Like, you know, and I'm going through and I'm in the energy. And then, you know, the next, like I think it was like Wednesday, I had this like just this random like pull to create a masterclass about like social media content for drivers. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I'll just do it. So I wrote it, recorded it, launched it on my website like an hour later. But I had the time and space because when I was in the flow, I didn't make my brain be like, okay, so we're done for today. We've done our blocks for today. These are our blocks for tomorrow. I'm like, fuck no, man, I'm in the flow. Let's bring these bad boys here. And it was almost like the excitement of ticking off things and the dopamine hit that I got from ticking off all those things that I wanted to do more. But that was like, and then literally is Monday, Tuesday, you know, and my massive days, I'll do probably 90% of my week's work in 2 days. I know that giving my brain a little bit of a break right now is going to mean that I'm going to be absolutely firing, you know, like a crazy person for the rest of the week. So
Yeah, I feel like I'm like in a weird season because obviously my husband works 9 till 5, or actually he works like 8 till 7. Let's be honest,
yes.
like 5 days a week. And then I've still got one child at school, but then the other child has like weird shifts. He's all over the show. And then I have my like energy is all over the place. So I'm doing like, I'll get urged to do client work in the evening, and then like, or I'll be doing it in like the weekend morning, or I'll try and fit as much of it into like the school day as possible, or after schools even, because then I'm suddenly like, oh no, I've got to cook tea, but I'm in the middle of the flow of something. I'm like, no. So sometimes I can literally forget to cook tea. I would have missed a call from Andrew saying he was going to be home late. It's like 7:30. Haven't taken the meat out of the freezer. Like, so if I don't have that structure in place, I just don't even know how to function as a mother or someone that is generally running a household. I quite often have to really intentionally put down work in the evenings to be like, okay, like this is actually time to spend with Andrew. But you know, sometimes I turn to him and I'm just like, I'm feeling in the flow, and I've been struggling to feel in the flow today. So sorry, like I'll sit beside you while you watch
Yeah.
something you like. You
Yeah.
know,
Like it just makes me laugh because like obviously I'm single and I have no kids. So like the thought of that to me, like, you know, when I went through my whole infertility journey and I was like, all I want is for like to be able to have a baby and to be able to have all these things. But like now the thought of that, I'm like, oh no, but like I would be in the middle of doing something. Like, what if I like, yeah, I'm like, no, I need to be able to keep doing it. I don't care what other people are doing. And it's just funny. I don't have to worry about that because my cats will tell me when they want to be fed.
yeah.
So yeah, I will have a cat that will knock off shit until I decide to stop doing what I'm doing and take 2 seconds to feed them. And same thing, like I miss out on a lot of stuff because I do work on weekends and I miss out like, and you know, going out at an evening time, like one, half the time I don't feel like doing it, but two, like I'll be in the middle of something. But there's a trade-off because then, you know, like some of my cousins work in the mines and I'm the only one that can, you know, go and hang out and have coffee with them on a Wednesday morning at 11
Yes.
o'clock. Everyone else is at work. Or, you know, picking up my nieces and nephews from school or childcare. And you know, I've just decided that I've had enough for the day and I want to take my babies out of daycare and go and, you know, get our nails done or something like that. Like I have that flexibility. That's the trade-off for missing some events, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You guys, I hope you loved that chat with Megs as much as I did. My heart is so full right now. I love that Megs just goes for it. She takes the opportunities, she tries things, she kicks it into action, and she inspires me always to do the same. So I hope she inspires you too. Love you, Meg, so much. Thank you for coming on and chatting. You are such a blessing.